Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. हरि नाम का आश्रय करते हुए
we all have taken the shelter of the Harinam or the chanting of the holy names, and our humble obeisances at the lotus feet of all the devotees who chant here together. Today, in Bharat or India and the whole world, a beautiful Women's Day celebration is being performed. So on this day of Women's Day, I congratulate you all. If we contemplate, sorry, then a woman, if she thinks from her mind, then has some personality. But if she heard things from her heart, then she can be a simple women. They say that the women doesn't have a home, but the truth is that without a woman there is no home. In Sanskrit, the word is called a grani, and the home is complete only with a granny or a woman. They say that our fortune and our women, they distress us or disturb us, but if they both come together, then the whole things become fortunate. So even if she's not well, then also she takes care of the family and she is anxious about their food and taking care of them. She lives not according to her own wishes and fancies, but on the wishes of others to fulfill their desires. A poet has written beautifully, what is the meaning of woman or stri? It says that it is like a incense stick. It has fire, but yet it has courage and patience. As the incense stick slowly turns into ashes, yet till that point she is there, she fragments the whole surrounding. So the woman works so hard and finish her self, but she leaves a fragrance in her whole household. If we think a woman is like salt, if she's there, then there is no value attached to it. But when it is deficient, then the food is futile as it has no taste. Similarly, when women is with us, we don't value that much. But when she is not there, then we feel her absence. So on this Women's Day, Lal Govind thus our humble obeisance is at the lotus feet of all the women, and I congratulate you all. Now that we are talking about women, then Brahma Puran has a beautiful description of five most pious women in our scriptures. And it is said that if we remember or these five, then we will be relieved of the huge sins. And who are these five women?
द्रौपदी सीता तारा मंदोदरी तथा पंचकन्या स्मरे नित्यम् पंचकन्या स्मरे नित्यम् महापातकनाशनम् महापातकनाशनम्। हमारे इतिहास की ये 5 महिला,
in our history we have these 5 women, and Srila Vedvyas Muni writes in Brahma Puran that if somebody even remembers them, then the huge sins could be burnt to ashes. Now that it's a Women's Day, so we should remember these women. And let's enter the Katha. Although our life starts from by the mercy of women, who, no matter how elevated devotee or a brave heart, courageous person you are, or a saint, but all have taken birth from the womb of a mother, and they have been brought up by the sanskaras given by them. So in these 5 women, the first woman is Ahalya, and the reason is that she is the eldest of them all. From Brahmaji, Ahalyaji was born. And when she manifested from Brahmaji, Brahmaji saw that she is extremely beautiful, and all the demigods, including Indra, desired to get her. But Ahalyaji was married off to Gautam Muni. So Gautam Rishi, with Gautam Rishi, she was living a great householder life. But Indra had his vision set on her, and he desired to have her. Gautam Muni used to wake up at the Brahmahurata by the sound vibration of the cock. And after that, he'll take a bath and he will start his day with Mangalacharan, etc. And one day, Indra made the noise of a cock, and Gautam Muni left, and he came as Gautam Muni, and Ahilya got confused, and Indra was coming out, and Gautam Muni saw that who is he who is appearing as me? there is some mischief going on here. So Gautam Muni went inside and he said, tell me truthfully who came to our house. The innocent Ahalya was shocked. She said that if you are my husband, then the one who was here as my husband, who was he? Ahalya was mute as she turned like a stone. Gautam Muni cursed her that you are standing like a stone, not answering. You become a stone. And on the other hand, he cursed Indra that you will have thousands of holes, and whatever pious deeds you do, they will all get out from these holes. So the first and foremost is Ahilya Devi, and the first thing that we should learn from her is patience, dheeraj. Her husband cursed her. She didn't got angry or upset. She controlled her patience, her emotions, and patiently she sat as a stone in her home's garden. Although Ahilya was not at fault yet, even if there was a fault, there is a fault, then to accept that fault is the nature of a devotee or a saint. Ahalya committed a mistake and she's sitting in the veranda of the home, and she was asked why you're sitting outside. Then she said that if I have committed a mistake, then I don't want to hide. I want everybody to know so that I be liberated of this sin. Then she was asked that you will be hit by people. She said that if I keep on getting kicked by people, ultimately one day I will be kicked by Lord Rama. And that is why she is sitting as a stone outside her home. I'm sorry. And then in Treta Yuga, to protect the yajna sacrifice, fire sacrifice of Vishwamitra, Ramji was walking down with him, and there he saw Ahilya as a stone.
पूछा मुनि शिला प्रभु देखी सकल कथा कही विशेषी। भगवान ने कहा कि मुनिवर गुरुदेव
The Lord said that whose ashram is this, or whose hermit page is this, and who is this stone? Vishwamitra ji told she is Ahalya, and please give her your mercy. He goes towards the Ahalya and he keeps his feet at the head of the stone, and as soon as the lotus feet of Krishna, the dust of lotus feet of the Lord Ram touched Ahalya, she became effulgent and a beautiful woman, Ahalya Devi, manifested. And she started looking at Lord Sri Ramachandra. As she was sitting from so many years as a stone. And after she was removed by the curse, she wanted to say so much to Lord Sri Ram, but she couldn't say a word. And then she started singing the glories of Lord Sri Ram. And Lord Ramji asked, do you need any benediction? She said, I don't want anything. She said that I want to thank my husband. So, when a husband gets angry, and the wife becomes upset and she leaves her home. But here, Ahilya Devi is taking it positively, said that my husband has been so grateful to me, so merciful to me, that he gave me this opportunity. The darshan of a Lord, which takes so much austerity, piety, and process, but I got your darshan so easily because of mercy of my husband. And you're asking that I should ask you something, but I don't know how to ask and what to ask you. But we're listening to the Bhramar Geet or the humming bee song, so she's remembered the honeybee, and she said that as a honeybee gets entangled and engrossed in the fragrance of the lotus, similarly, my mind, which is like humming bee, get attached to your lotus feet. So please give me that boon. And Lord Sri Ram gave her that benediction. She said, Ramji said that in your young age, you were separated from your husband. So don't worry, I will send you to your husband's abode. So on the first day of Women's Day, so let's discuss the 5 women from Brahma Puran.
और इससे संसार की सभी माताओं का स्मरण हो रहा है, सभी महिलाओं का स्मरण हो रहा है, और जो महिला है उसे एक आदर्श, एक आइडियल लगता है कि हमारा जीवन
these women are ideal and we should try to take a lead or follow them. And the second is Draupadi, who was the daughter of Drupad, was the king of Panchal, and she manifested from the yajna or the fire sacrifice. Although Draupadi is mentioned and described in detail in Mahabharata, so there are so many qualities in Draupadi. But if I have to follow Bhagvatam, then there are 2 qualities that we should follow them. First is to forgive. In the opening of Shrimad Bhagavatam, the pastime is of a woman, and that woman is Draupadi. And her beautiful nature has been described in Bhagavatam. When Pandavas killed all the Kauravas, and eventually Duryodhana also died in the hands of Bhima, and Duryodhana was at her last breath, Ashwathama went in the dark night, and when everybody was asleep, he thought that I will cut the heads of the Pandavas, but instead he cut the head of heads of the young children of Draupadi. And next day, when Draupadi saw that they were all dead, Arjun took a vow, and Krishna and Arjuna followed Ashwathama, and they trapped him and brought him to Draupadi and said that now you should kill him because he is the killer of your sons. Draupadi was a Kshatriya from the warrior clan. She could have punished him, but she was a great devotee and she said, no, we should forgive him. Arjun said that even if you want, I will not forgive Ashwathama. Draupadi said that I will not kill and I will not let you also kill him. Uh, Draupadi is protecting the killer of her own sons. This is the heart of a mother. This is the attitude of forgiveness. If somebody misbehaves also with us, then also we will not leave. But great is Draupadi who forgives her. Because forgiveness is the jewel of a great personality. And the second thing that we should learn from her is surrender. That is Krishna Sharanagati or surrender. This is what we should learn from her. When Durvasa Muni was about to come to their home with 10,000 disciples in, on behest of Yudhishthirji, and Draupadi said that I cannot prepare the food as I have cleaned the Akshay Patra. So Yudhishthirji says that now he will come and he will curse. And immediately Draupadi meditated on Lord Sri Krishna and he manifested in the assembly of Kurus when she was being disrobed. The, Duryodhan was capping, tapping his thighs, and Dushyasana was pulling her robes, and nobody came to help her. And she raised both her hands in surrender to Krishna, and she said,
गो ए मुरारी मेरो क्या बिगड़े गो जाएगी लाज तिहारी जाएगी लाज तिहारी मुरारी मेरो क्या बिगड़े गो। हे मुरारी, हे कृष्ण, अब मुझे
Oh Murari, oh Krishna, I'm not worried about me, but I am considered as yours. We have devoted our lives towards you, and if something happens to us, then what will people say? That these were the devotees of Lord Sri Krishna. So she says, I'm not worried about me, but if something happens, then it will not be my shame, it will be your shame.
तेरो ही आसरो एक मलोक नहीं कोई मन में दूजी जसी है। हे हो मुरारी पुकारी कहूं अब मेरी हंसी नहीं तेरी हंसी है। कृष्ण अब मेरी हंसी नहीं है।
She says that people will not laugh at me, but they will laugh at you. That these were the devotees of the Lord. They have surrendered themselves to the Lord. So I'm worried about this. So this is an amazing surrender of Devi Draupadi. So we have seen so many manifestations of the Lord or incarnations of the Lord. But for Draupadi, he manifested as a Vastra avatar or incarnation as clothes or robes. Dushasana became unconscious in trying to pulling the robes of Draupadi because Lord is infinite and such was the robes of Draupadi by the incarnation of the Lord. So we are remembering these women through the medium of Shrimad Bhagavatam. If I tell in short, the third woman is Devi Sita. In Brahma Puran also 5 women are mentioned and other Puranas also 5 women are mentioned. But there is one difference in character. Here it's Sita ji, but in other Puranas, Srimati Kunti ji is mentioned. So the third is Sita ji in Brahma Purana and in other Purans, Kunti ji. So Ravana used to collect taxes from the Brahmanas, the sages, and when they didn't were able to pay, he used to get their blood and used to fill this blood. They cursed him that this blood that you're collecting will become the reason of your death. Ravan got scared. He buried this pot of blood in the ground. After a few years, Janak ji was filling the ground and Sita ji manifested from that pot. If we have to say one word about Sita ji, then she is the epitome of tolerance. If we collect the tolerance of crores of tolerance, then the epitome will be Sita.
लेकिन सीता को जन्म दे, सीता को जन्माए ऐसा कोई कैरेक्टर ही नहीं मिला.
So Devaki gave birth to Krishna and Ram got birth through Kaushalya, but Sita ji was such a divine character that there was no mother capable to bring her to the world. That is why she manifests from the earth. So from both Kunti ji and Sita Devi, the thing that we have to learn is tolerance. In Gujarat, there is a bhajan. It is
दया के सागर हो.
They say that Sita ji You are incomparable to Sita ji. You are ocean of mercy, and you are offered veneration, everything. But oh Ram ji, you cannot compete with Sita Devi.
કારણ કે
Why?
કાચારે કાન તમે ક્યાના ભગવાન તમે અગ્નિ પરીક્ષા કોની લીધી ભગવાન હોકર આપકી ઇતને
That although you were Lord, that but you had such a
ऊंचे कान कि आपकी
weak
परछाई
ears
बनकर
that
जिन्होंने वनवास
you
बिताया आपकी परछाई होकर
tested
वनवास
the
का कष्ट
wife
सहन
who
किया वो
followed
पांच
you
वर्ष की
as
बात
the
सुनकर भी
shadow
सीता की अग्नि
into the
परीक्षा
forest
अग्नि
in
परीक्षा
exile,
करनी पड़ी
and you
પતિ
put her
થઈને
through the fire
પત્નીને
test.
પારખતા ન આવડી અને ઘટ ઘટ ના જ્ઞાતા કેવરાઓ वैसे तो आप घट घट के वासी कहलाते हो ना घट घट में
So
घट
you are
घट में
considered
तुम्हारा
as
नाम
that
एक
you are
पत्नी को
eternally
पारखने को नहीं आया पत्नी को पहचान नहीं पाए
present everywhere,
इसीलिए
but you couldn't
आप
even
भगवान हो ईश्वर हो करुणा निदान हो लेकिन हमारी सीता की
test your
बराबरी नहीं
wife.
कर सकते
So that is the reason you cannot be compared to
और आप
Mata Sita.
संतों ने
And
हमें
what do
कहा
you know?
भ्रम में मत रहना राम जी कि आपने रावण को मारा
You don't think that you killed
उस
Ravana.
रावण को सीता ने लंका में अंदर से खोखरा कर दिया था
Sita ji
रावण को
had
सीता
weakened
ने कहा था
Ravana
राम जी
from
आपने
sitting
तो केवल विजय का
in
यश
Lanka,
लिया
and you
जो
just took the
मरे हुए
fame.
को मारा
You
उसमें आपने
killed a
रावण
person who
को
is
पराजित
already
कर
dead.
दिया
So, what is the bravery or courage
कोई
in
है
that?
राम जी सीता जी पत्नी गर्भवती है दो दो बच्चे उनके गर्भ में हैं और एक हड़ी गिला
A pregnant wife with twins.
વનમાં મૂકી આવો
On
એ
the
ધોબીન મારી પાસે મોકલી
words
કંઈક સમજાવે
of a laundryman, you
एक
sent her
एक
to
एक
exile
औलाद
in
के होने
forest.
पर आपने इतना बड़ा चरित्र इनको आपने वन में भेज दिया लेकिन इस महिला की महानता देखो भक्तों कि राम जी
But see her
राम जी का पक्ष अपना है वो धर्म के
magnificence.
मार्ग में है
Although
लेकिन
Ramji has
सीता के
his
साथ
own
तो अन्याय
perspective
हुआ ना
at the path of
हमारी
self
सीता जी के साथ
righteousness,
तो अन्याय हुआ
but
लेकिन 30 पर भी सीता जी ने मन में भी राम जी का दोष नहीं देखा मन में भी राम जी को दोष नहीं दिया उन्होंने यही सोचा कि मेरे पति राजा है राजा के अनेकों कर्तव्य होते हैं उन अनेकों कर्तव्यों को निभाने में मेरा बलिदान देना पड़ा तो ये मेरा सौभाग्य है चलो मैं एटलीस्ट मेरे प्रभु के मेरे पति के बलिदान में तो काम में आई ये होती है भारत की महिला इसीलिए तो पुराणों में नाम दर्ज होते हैं अहल्या द्रौपदी सीता तारा मंदोदरी तथा पंचकन्या स्मर नित्यम महापातक नाशनम सो इस प्रकार से 3 कन्या चौथी कन्या है तारा ये तारा है वानरों में डॉक्टर होते हैं पता है आपको मनुष्यों में डॉक्टर नहीं होते वानरों को भी डॉक्टर होते हैं सो वानरों में एक डॉक्टर हुआ करते थे जिसका नाम था सुषेण तो वानर चिकित्सक सुषेण की कन्या थी ये तारा और फिर आगे चलकर किष्किंधा क्षेत्र की रानी बनी और वानर राज बाली की पत्नी हुई और इसी तारा का पुत्र हुआ अंगद अंगद
so the
जानते हो
fourth one is Tara Rani, whose son was Angad, who is my favorite character. When at last he was sent to Ravana to avoid the war, he was sent. So he is the son of this Tara Rani. And Angadji went. When he went to Lanka, everybody started keeping a distance from him. So he was unaware that the people of Lanka were afraid because previously the Vanar who came burned our Lanka. We just finished our renovation. And if we mess around with him, then again our homes will be burned and we will be ending our lives just renovating the house. So he went straight away to Ravan and he tried to convince Ravan. His Angaji said that how you are going to fight with our Lord if your for any of your followers can just lift my leg, then we will leave Sitaji here and we will go. He almost gambled Sitaji, but he was so much confident and had so much surrender and faith in Lord Sri Ram. Ravana used his intelligence. He said that this will be easier, we'll not have to fight. So everybody started trying. So when nobody was able to do it, then Ravana thought that let me do it. So he was about to bow down at the lotus feet of Angaji. He said that if you really want to bow down, then why don't you bow down at the lotus feet of Lord Sri Ram? You will attain welfare. So there are sometimes people who will bow down at other people's feet, but they'll not surrender themselves to the Lord. So so it is mentioned when Taraji's husband Bali was killed by Lord Sri Ram.
कल देखी रघुराया दीन ज्ञान हरि लीन्ही माया उपजा ज्ञान चरण तब लागी लीने सी परमा भगति बरमा। राम जी ने तारा के पति बाली का वध कर दिया।
When Ramji killed her husband Bali, she was distressed, and Ramji saw that she was crying vehemently. But she didn't had any feelings of anger or envy towards the Lord. But she folded her hands and said that please give me transcendental knowledge. And Ramji gave her the transcendental knowledge and took away all his ignorance. And when she got this knowledge, she bowed down at the lotus feet of the Lord. So the fourth woman in this series is Srimati Tara. So the fifth one is Mandodari. So there are few women whose husband are like Ravana, not completely like Ravana, but at least some characteristics. So they ask question, then we get to know. So this is one woman who should be remembered. So there was a Asur named Maya, and he married a celestial woman, Hema, and their daughter was Mandodari. And Ravana had so many wives, but she was the one of the prime wife of Lord of Ravana, and she begot 3 sons.
दूसरा था अति काया और तीसरा था अक्षय
Indrajit,
कुमार।
Atikaya, and
मंदोदरी
third
के 3
Akshay
बेटे
Kumar.
थे। मंदोदरी से लेने लायक शिक्षा क्या है?
So what we should learn from her?
मंदोदरी ने अपने जीवन में सांसारिक धर्म की
Mandodari in her
परंपरा
life,
पर निभाया और
she
आत्मा का धर्म
followed the
धर्म
principles
की
of a
परम धर्म
householder.
से निभाया।
Not only her material
मंदोदरी
responsibilities,
बहुत
but also her
समझाती है।
responsibilities
ये
towards the
बात
soul.
बहुत अच्छी
She
हो, बड़ी नम्रता
always
से बोली, इसमें
used
बहुत विस्तार से
to
वर्णन है। ये मंदोदरी की पूरी कथा हो सकती है।
convince
बड़ी विनम्रता से एक
Ravana
बात
with
मैं आपको पत्नी
so
हूँ, मैं
much
आपके सामने
humility.
क्या बोल सकती हूँ,
She used to say that
लेकिन
I'm your
मैं
wife, but
आपको
what can I
निवेदन करती
say
हूँ
in front of you?
कि
But I
आप
bow
बहुत
down
अच्छे हो।
with
लेकिन
folded
आपसे एक
hands.
गलती हो गई।
You're very
जगत
good,
नी मात ने
but you have
कहा
committed one mistake.
ते विश्वना नाथ थी वैर कीधु। जगत की माँ
That
को
you
अपनी जगह
have
पर ला कर रखा है।
and
वो सीता नहीं, वो आग है।
bought the mother of this world,
जाने अनजाने में
and
यदि
she's
आप
not a
उसको
woman,
छुओगे
she's
वो जला
fire.
कर ही छोड़ेगी।
And if you try
तभी
to
मैं कहती
touch
हूँ
fire,
कि
you
आप
will
इस
be
कथा को
burnt.
छोड़
So
दीजिए।
I request you,
मंदोदरी
please
बोझ नहीं
leave
बनेगी।
her.
रामायण में तो 3
She
बार
daily
कृष्ण
used to convince.
3 बार
It is
मंदोदरी
mentioned thrice in Ramayana.
और मंदोदरी ने इतना प्रवचन किया।
Mandodari
मंदोदरी का प्रवचन सुनना
tried
बहुत
to
अच्छा है।
preach so much to Ravana.
सकल
Let's
नयन
discuss
कह जुग
this.
कर जोरी सुनहु प्राणपति बिनंती मोरी कंत राम विरोध परिहरहूं जानी मनोज जनी हठ मन धरहूं। सजल नयन, आंखों में आंसू है। आज की पत्नी की तरह नहीं दांत दबाकर।
Has tears in her eyes.
તમે તો કઈ કામના નથી, તમે કઈ
Not like today's women
કરવાનું
with
નથી, ऐसा नहीं।
with
सजल
teeth
नयन,
in
आंखों में आंसू है, दोनों हाथ जोड़कर
with anger.
सुनहूं
But she has
प्राणपति
tears
बिनंती
in her
मोरी। हे
eyes,
प्राणपति मेरी विनंती सुनिए।
and she
कंत
says
राम
that,
विरोध
please
परिहर।
listen to my request,
राम के साथ जो विरोध है ना, उससे आप मुक्त
that
हो जाइए। राम से विरोध
your
नहीं
opposition
कीजिए,
towards
क्योंकि राम
Ram,
मनुष्य नहीं है।
you should
तुम
leave
राम
it,
को मनुष्य
because he is not an ordinary
पतिदेव, यहाँ पर
person.
बहुत बड़ी
You
गलती है।
think that he is an ordinary human being,
अनेक
but this
श्लोक में
is an
मंदोदरी ने कहा कि
extreme
राम क्या है,
fault.
उनकी विभूति
She
का
tells
वर्णन
in
विराट रूप
so
का
many
वर्णन
verses
देवी
about
मंदोदरी ने किया।
Lord
उनके
Sri
हृदय
Ram, her
विश्व
quality,
रूप
his
श्रीवत्स
qualities,
वंदी
etc.
करहु
She says,
वचन विश्वास। नाथ मेरी बात पर विश्वास करो
she says that please
कि वो स्वयं
have
भगवान है।
faith in my word.
लोक कल्पना
He
विधि
himself is
विधान
Lord.
लोक प्रति जासु। मंदोदरी ने बहुत सुंदर उपदेश दिया, रावण नहीं माना।
And she
मैंने
tried to convince Ravana, but
लोग कन्फ्यूज हो
Ravana
जाते हैं, लेकिन आज
was adamant.
एक पक्ष तो ये रहा रामायण का।
So in
मंदोदरी
Ramayan,
तुम मेरे
one
भाव को नहीं जानती हो, तुम
perspective
नहीं जानती हो,
was that
तुम
Ravana
डर गई हो
said
इसलिए ये सब बोल
that
रही हो।
you're scared
और फिर रावण
and
निकल गया युद्ध
you
करने,
don't know how
यही
powerful I am,
तात्पर्य है।
and Ravana
लेकिन
went to
रामायण
fight.
में शर्त
So
थोड़ी
this
सी
is one
है।
perspective.
एक रामायण में रावण ने मंदोदरी को कहा, मंदोदरी
In
तुम मेरे भाव
another
को जानती है, मेरे से ज्यादा भाव
Ramayana,
को मैं जानता हूँ।
he says that, what do you know about
राम
Ram?
मेरा भी
I
बाप
know
है,
more
राम मेरा
than
भी
Ram.
ईश्वर है।
I know he is the Lord,
और मंदोदरी तू जानती नहीं मैं सीता को क्यों
and
लेकर आया हूँ?
you don't know why I have brought
मेरी
Sita ji
लंका
home
को पवित्र करना चाहता हूँ,
to make
और
my
किसी भी उपाय
Lanka
से राम यहाँ नहीं
pure,
आएंगे। मैं इस
and
लंका
by
को
any
पवित्र करना
other
चाहता हूँ, और मैं
process he
राम
will
के
not
हाथों से
come to our home,
वीरगति प्राप्त करना चाहता हूँ।
and I want to
मंदोदरी
die
कहती
at
यदि
his
मुझे कुछ
hands.
गलत करना होता तो सीता
If
को
I
किस
had
तरह
to
से
do
लेकर आ
something
सकता?
wrong,
मैं कुछ
then
गलत नहीं
she's
कर सकता
here
था,
in here
मुझे तो
for
राम जी
2
को
years.
देखना है, उनका
Couldn't
अनुग्रह।
I
एक
have
पक्ष
done
है रामायण का।
anything?
रामायण तो शतकोटि, आप कभी सुनिए, रावण का पक्ष भी बहुत सुंदर है, लेकिन
there
हमारे
are
समाज में शोभा देगा
positive
तो लोग कहेंगे ये क्या
traits
है,
of Ravana as well.
रावण विलन
If
को
I
हीरो क्यों
start
बना
doing
रहा है? लेकिन ये
that,
सब
then
संसार
people
का
will say that
भोग
why
की आस्वादन करने का विषय है।
he is making
मुझे
a
यहाँ
hero
पर
out of a villain.
इस पंच कन्या में पांचवी कन्या मंदोदरी है,
So
इसे
in this
पॉइंट
fifth,
कहना है
these 5 women,
कि कभी
I just
कभी
want to
किसी
say
महिला
one
के
thing about
हृदय
Mandodari,
में
the fifth
रावण नहीं
one,
होता, रावण की
that
वृत्ति होती है। 1% 2%
if
रावण का
a
थोड़ा सा प्रभाव होता है,
wife,
2-5%
if a
ज्यादा
husband
नहीं हो
has
सकता।
some
वचन
qualities,
नहीं कहते,
2 to
केवल मुंह माई
5%
लगे रहते
qualities
हैं,
of
2-5%
Ravana,
तो
is
उस
either he's
समय पत्नी
materialist
का
or
कर्तव्य
an
क्या है?
atheist, etc.
मंदोदरी की
But
तरह
at that time
वे
also,
अपने
the
पति को
wife
समझाए,
has a responsibility
प्रेम से,
that she
विनम्रता
should
से,
try to convince her
आदर से
husband with
समझाए,
love
अपना
and
पूर्ण प्रयास
humility
करे
and
समझाए।
respect.
और
She
कोई
should
पति न समझे,
try her
न
best.
माने, भगवान
But
से
even
विरोध
if
करे, उनकी
then the
मृत्यु
husband
है,
doesn't
वो उनके कर्म है।
understands and he
लेकिन
is killed,
पत्नी अपने
then it
पति
is
को
their
समझाए।
karma. But
ऐसा
the
नहीं कि
wife should
मंदोदरी
never
रावण के
leave
समझाए,
her
रावण मान गया तो वो फिर से
responsibility.
सो गई। मंदोदरी की बात रावण नहीं माना, फिर भी मंदोदरी का नाम यहाँ पर दर्ज हो गया।
Mandodari's
हमारी बात हमारे घर वाले, समाज वाले, पति मान नहीं
Ravana
रहे,
didn't
ये
adhere
अलग बात
to
है, इसमें
Mandodari's
कोई विरोध
request,
नहीं है।
yet she
लेकिन
is
हमारा
mentioned here
कर्तव्य बनता है, क्योंकि हम उनके
because
रिलेटिव हैं,
she
हमारा
followed her
संबंध है,
responsibility.
इसलिए हम उनको
That we
संदेश
have a
देना
relationship,
है।
so we should
ऐसा
make
थोड़ी
them
ना
aware
मंदोदरी
of
की
the
बात
truth.
रावण मान गया इसलिए मंदोदरी का नाम यहाँ आ गया, नहीं, ये तो फेल है ना। लेकिन हाँ, मंदोदरी ने अपना
She
कर्तव्य निभाया।
couldn't
हमें आपको ये
make her
बताना
husband
है, ये
understand,
सब
but
भारत
yet
संसार गृहस्थी
she
में रहने वाले लोग हैं।
followed
कभी कभार
her
ऐसा कोई संकट हमारे
responsibilities,
परिवार में हमारे निकट
and
आता
that is
है,
why she is mentioned
तो
here.
हमें
And
भाव पूर्वक
sometimes in
उनसे
the
क्षमा करें,
family
यही
life,
हमारा धर्म और हमें
some
कर्तव्य
situation
निभाना है।
arises, then we should try to
इसी
guide them
प्रकार आज वुमेन्स डे
and
है, महिला
fulfill
दिवस है,
our
और इस महिला
responsibilities.
दिवस के उपलक्ष्य
So,
में
on the
हमने 5 कन्याओं का
occasion of Women's Day,
स्मरण
we
किया।
have heard about
अभी
these
हमें बहुत
5 divine
प्रेरणा
women.
हुई और कथा के प्रवाह में
I
यदि किसी
speak a
महिला,
lot,
यदि किसी
and
माता का
if
अपराध हो गया हो
if I had
तो
offended
आप
any of
पवित्र समझ
the
कर
women,
हमें क्षमा
then
कीजिएगा।
please
हमारी
forgive
महिला दिवस
me
पर
thinking
भरपूर
as
आशीर्वाद की वर्षा
your son,
कीजिएगा
and
कि
please
हम
bless me
भागवत गा सके,
that
भगवत
I
सेवा
am able to
और आपके
sing
भक्तों की सेवा कर
Bhagavatam
सके।
and serve
आइए,
Bhagavatam
मोहरा
and
बैठा
serve
है
you all.
और बहुत
So
हिल रहा है,
let's move
तो हम
to
मोहरे के
the
पास पहुंचे, भ्रमर गीत
humming
गाना है।
honeybee.
उसके पहले थोड़ा
Let's move on
कीर्तन
to
करना
Bhramar
है
Geet.
और
Before
फिर
that, we'll
भगवत गीता
just
की ओर
chant
आगे बढ़ते
and
हैं।
do Sankirtana for a while.
किशोर जय गोपी चित चोर प्रभो, जय जय माखन चोर, जय जय माखन चोर। श्री कृष्ण चंद्र भगवान की, जगत गुरु श्रील प्रभुपाद की। उपस्थित भगवत कथा अनुरागी
Hare Krishna. I welcome all the
इस सभा को
devotees who are attracted to Shrimad Bhagavatam Katha.
अंतर्राष्ट्रीय
I
कुशल
especially
भाग्यवान
welcome
संघ
the
इस्कॉन
senior Vaishnavas or
विश्व भक्त
devotees of the International Society of Krishna Consciousness
दूर
Iskcon.
दूर से, देश
And
विदेश से,
I also want to
फेसबुक,
welcome
यूट्यूब आदि के
all of
माध्यम
you
से
who have gathered
बड़ी भारी मात्रा
from
में
all the parts of the world
इस
in
कथा
huge
को
numbers through the
सुनने
medium
वाले
of YouTube,
समस्त
Facebook,
श्रोतागण
etc. All the
एक
listeners, and
एक और
in
पूर्वक
particular,
भगवान
with
प्रभु
only one goal
कृष्ण
to
प्रेम
achieve
प्राप्त
the
करने
love
के
of
उद्देश्य
the
से
Lord,
इस भागवत कथा का आयोजन करने वाले
the
श्री
host
चतुर भाई
family who
और
have organized
उनके
this
संप्रदाय
Bhagavatam
का
Katha,
Prabhu, Savita Mata,
Shri Radha Shyam Sundar Prabhu, Savita Mat, Bhumika Ben, Mit Kumar,
Sunil Prabhu,
Sunil Prabhu,
Mata,
Parul Mata,
Manisha Ben, Sanjay
Manisha Ben,
और
Sanjay
सभी
Kumar,
बाल गोपाल,
and all the kids,
श्रेया, दिया,
Shreya Diya,
आरती, किशन,
Arati Kishan,
ऋषि, राधिका,
Richi Radhika.
आप सभी भक्तों का
I welcome you
श्रीमद्
all
भागवत कथा के
on the 6th
6th
day
में पुनः एक बार
of this
हार्दिक
Bhagavatam
स्वागत
Katha,
एवं
and
आप सबके चरणों में
our humble obeisances at your lotus feet.
राधे श्याम।
Radhe Shyam.
मैं विशेष स्वागत करूं
I especially want to welcome
मैरीलैंड से
from Maryland
श्री प्रद्युम्न प्रभु का
Shri Pradyumna
से
Prabhu,
पधारे हैं,
who is here from
वरिष्ठ
Baltimore.
भक्त हैं।
He is a senior devotee.
ये कथा कई वर्ष पूर्व गुरुदेव ने खड़िया में की थी
This
और
Katha was
प्रद्युम्न
performed
प्रभु
by
पहली
Guru
बार
Maharaj
सुने थे
in Khadia long,
और जो
and
सुने थे
Pradyumna Prabhu had
वही यहाँ
heard
पर हम गा रहे हैं।
years back sitting near the Gurudev
श्रीमद्
Maharaj,
भगवत गीता में
and we are repeating the same
4
Katha
प्रकार
today.
के भक्तों का जिक्र हुआ है।
So in Shrimad
यदि कोई
Bhagavatam, there
व्यक्ति
are
पूछे
4 types of devotees
या
that are
आपसे कोई
mentioned.
पूछे
And if someone
कि
asks,
भक्त कितने प्रकार के होते हैं,
what are the types of
तो
devotees?
भगवत गीता के अनुसार
Then according to Bhagvat Gita,
चतुर्विधा भजन्ते माम जना सुकृति नोर्जुन
4 types of people
आर्तो जिज्ञासु अर्थार्थी ज्ञानी च भरतर्षभ। नीचे श्लोक में आप देख सकते हैं।
worship me. So it's mentioned in the
श्री
verse
कृष्ण कहते हैं कि हे
that
भरत
Lord
हे
himself
भरत
says
वत्सल,
that,
हे भरत
A,
वंशियों में श्रेष्ठ अर्जुन,
oh, the
चतुर्विधा
best among
4 प्रकार के लोग,
the Bharata.
4 प्रकार के लोग
So 4 types of
माम
people
भजन्ते, मेरा भजन करते हैं।
worship me or sing
माने
my
4
glories,
प्रकार के लोग मेरा भजन, मेरी भक्ति करते, मेरे पास आते हैं।
and they come to me.
ये चारों प्रकार के लोग भरपूर
And these
सुकृति
4
से भरे
types of
हुए हैं,
people are filled
क्योंकि
with
बिना सुकृति
good
के
deeds,
कोई मेरे पास
because
आ नहीं सकता।
without good
तो
karma, nobody
सुकृति
can
नोर
come
जना,
near me.
सुकृतिशाली लोग 4
So
प्रकार के
only
होते हैं जो
who are
मेरे पास आके
pious,
मेरा भजन करते हैं।
and in that
कौन से हैं?
they have 4 categories.
सबसे पहले कहते हैं
And the
आर्त।
first is Arth.
हे अर्जुन, कोई
O
दुखी
Arjuna,
होकर मेरी शरण में आता है
someone who is
और
distressed
मुझे
or
पाता
sad
है।
surrenders to
इतिहास
me
में
and gets me.
जैसे
In
गजेंद्र
history,
उस सरोवर में
Gajendra,
बाघ के मुख में फंसा, बेचारा बड़ा दुखी हुआ
who was
और जब कोई मार्ग नहीं
so
मिला,
much distressed
हे
by
गोविंद
the
हे गोपाल,
alligator,
अब तो जीवन
and
हारे।
he surrendered to.
निर्जीवन हेतु गयो सिंधु के किनारे, सिंधु बीच ब्रसत ग्राह, चरण धरी पछारे, हे गोविंद हे गोपाल, अब तो जीवन हारे। आर्त, दुखी होकर गजेंद्र ईश्वर को पुकारा।
So
भगवान
a person who is distressed, like Gajendra,
दुखी होकर भगवान
he
श्री
called
कृष्ण को पुकारी।
Krishna and he achieved.
तो एक
Similarly,
तरफ दुखी
Draupadi
होकर लोग मेरे पास आते हैं
called Krishna at the
और
time of
दूसरे
great
प्रकार के लोग
difficulty
हैं
and he
जिज्ञासु।
manifested. And the second type
जन्म
of
मृत्यु के चक्र से
devotees
मुक्त
are
होने की जिज्ञासा। ये
inquisitive
बार-बार जन्म
people
मृत्यु के
who
बंधन
want
से,
to break
इस
the cycle
सांसारिक
of
भौतिक जगत से
birth
मुक्त
and
होने
death
की जिज्ञासा
and
लेकर
want to get
मेरे पास आते हैं।
relieved of this material world. Then they
तीसरा
come
है
to me.
अर्थार्थी,
And the third
जैसे
category
इतिहास
is
में
Artharthi.
ध्रुव महाराज,
That is like Dhruv Maharaj.
जब ध्रुव महाराज को राज्य चाहिए था,
He wanted a
राज्य
huge
चाहिए था,
kingdom.
तो अर्थी,
So
अर्थ वाला जो अर्थी है
Arthi.
वो मेरे पास आता है।
That means a person
और चौथे
who
हैं ज्ञानी,
wants material
जिनमें ज्ञान होता है,
opulence.
सत्य
And the
सत्य
fourth
ज्ञान।
is
हे अर्जुन,
the knowledgeable people
तो कुल
who
मिलाकर
know
ज्यादा
who is the absolute truth. So we are not going into detail, but these four type of people come and worship Lord Sri Krishna. And Krishna says that all these come to me.
आर्त अर्थार्थी जिज्ञासु ज्ञानी अर्जुन, ये चारों प्रकार के भक्त मेरे पास आते हैं। लेकिन मुझे यहाँ पर एक चीज जोड़नी है।
But I want to add one more thing here. And the fifth type of devotee is
एक है
who?
आर्त, दूसरा अर्थार्थी, तीसरा जिज्ञासु, चौथा ज्ञानी, पांचवा है प्रेमी।
And the fifth is premi, that is lover of the Lord.
ये चार प्रकार के भक्तों को तो भगवान के पास जाना पड़ता है,
because all these have to go to the Lord, but the lover, Lord himself walks toward that devotee.
आज यहाँ पर उसी प्रेम की बात हो रही है।
And today we are talking about the same love,
प्रेम की उच्चतर सीमा है,
and the highest pitch of love is Mahabhav. We are all listening to the mellows of separation in this katha. Srimati Radharani is herself epitome of Mahabhav, and I'm going to discuss her mental stature at this point of time. So, in such situation, a person talks like dual personality. So, a single person is talking about lover and beloved at the same time. And if he is attached to the Lord, then it is Mahabhav. But if it's attached to the material world, then it is called madness. So this is a situation of madness, and Mahabhav is almost same, but the only difference is at the in the Mahabhava stage, Priya and Priyatam, or the lover and the beloved, is attached to the Lord, that is a devotee, and the materialist mad is who is attached to this material world or material things. So it means Mahabhav and madness, they might appear similar, their nature might appear similar, but the relationship is different. Sometimes they laugh, sometimes they cry, sometimes they dance. So the activities are similar, but in Mahabhav it is the relationship or connection with the Lord, but in madness it is a relationship with the material world or things. So that we are listening to the song of the humming bee, we understand clearly that Srimati Radharani is in Mahabhava's stature or situation, and she is speaking on her behalf and as well as Krishna's behalf. So the humming bee is not saying anything. He is just humming like a natural bee, but Srimati Radharani is stating her statements as well as the statements of the bee. Her heart is totally disgruntled, and it is haywire. That is very important. In this world also, some people keep
ठीक है,
themselves
लेकिन
haywire, their
उनकी
clothes,
हमेशा
their hair,
अव्यवस्थित, इसके
etc.
पीछे का कारण
But
महत्वपूर्ण है.
what is the reason behind that
यदि बंदा बाल
attitude?
ठीक नहीं है, कपड़े ठीक नहीं है, टोटल अव्यवस्थित है, लेकिन इसके पीछे कारण संसार
If
या संसार की
the
कोई
reason
वस्तु है,
behind is
तब तो वो बिल्कुल
this
निकृष्ट
material
अवस्था में है.
world or material
लेकिन
person, then
ऐसी
it is
अव्यवस्थित
futile.
स्थिति का
But
कारण
if
यदि
this
कृष्ण है,
situation
तो
is
दुनिया की सर्वोत्तम
due
स्थिति है.
to the love of for Krishna,
अपने आप को
then it
एग्जाम्पल
is
दीजिए.
the highest
जब
stage
यशोदा मैया
of life.
कृष्ण की सेवा
When
करती थी और कभी
Yashoda
कभी
Ma
कृष्ण
used
शरारत
to
करते
serve
थे,
Lord Shri Krishna
और इस
and
कृष्ण
he
को
used to
समझाने में, उनको भगवत
distress
गीता और
her,
उनका ध्यान रखने में यशोदा मैया इतनी एंगेज हो जाती थी
and she
कि
used
यशोदा
to be
को
so
बाल
much
बनाने का
engaged
समय नहीं मिलता था,
that she hardly could get
ठीक
time
से मेकअप करने का
to
टाइम नहीं मिलता था,
arrange her
उनको ठीक से
hair
वस्त्र
or
पहनने
dress.
का टाइम नहीं मिलता था, बाल
She
बिखरे
didn't
हुए,
have that
बस
much
बालों में
time
से फूल गिरे
in
हुए,
hands.
साड़ी का ठिकाना नहीं. श्रीमद् भागवत जी में श्लोक है, मैं आपके सामने
Srimad
श्लोक
Bhagvat
प्रस्तुत
mentions a verse. Let me
भागवत
present it
दशम
in
स्कंध
front of your screen. This is in the 10th canto,
सो
9th
मातु
chapter.
स्विन्न गात्राया. कैसी अवस्था है? पसीना निकला हुआ. अब आप
So,
कथा
what is the situation?
ऑनलाइन
She
बैठे हैं,
is sweating.
फिजिकल कथा में बाजू में कोई पसीने से
In
लथपथ आदमी बैठा है तो आप
physical katha, if somebody is sweating and he
पसंद
sits
नहीं
next to
आएगा.
you, we
लेकिन
will
यशोदा मैया
not
की
tolerate
स्थिति
it.
कैसी है?
But imagine the situation of
स्विन्न
Yashoda Mati.
गात्राया. स्विन्न गात्र मैंने पसीने से लथपथ,
She is soaked in her own
और
sweat,
विस्त्रस्त्र कबरस्त्रज. यशोदा के बाल खुले हुए, बिखर चुके हैं,
and Vistratas,
बालों में से वो जो
her
फूल आते हैं
hair
वो गिर चुके हैं,
are haywire and the flowers are
और
falling down from her
परिश्रमम, और
hair.
वो परिश्रम कर रही है,
And
लेकिन किसके लिए? इसके पीछे
Parishramam,
कारण क्या
she
है?
is working hard. And
कृष्ण.
what is the reason? The
कृष्ण
reason
है.
behind is
श्री
Krishna.
सुखदेव गोस्वामी कहते हैं
Shri Shukdev
कि
Goswami
यशोदा का
says
चित पूर्ण अव्यवस्थित है,
her
यशोदा की
heart
वेशभूषा
is
पूर्ण
totally
अव्यवस्थित
haywire.
है,
Her appearance
यशोदा
is totally
टोटल
haywire,
अव्यवस्थित लग रही है, लेकिन
and
उसका
she looks
कारण कृष्ण है. इसलिए
totally
ऐसी माता
disgruntled.
यशोदा के ऊपर हजारों
Yet,
सन्यासी को कुर्बान कर दूं.
yet,
यही तो
because
स्थिति
it
है
is all
बेचारी
because
की.
of Krishna.
लेकिन फिर
So,
से बार बार कहूं,
this is the
ऐसी
situation
स्थिति
we want
कृष्ण
to
के लिए
achieve.
हो तब तो
But
महाभाव
let me
सबसे
repeat
उत्तम अवस्था
that
है.
if it is for Krishna, then it is Mahabhav.
ऐसी
But
स्थिति
if
यदि
it's
संसार
the
के
situation
या
for
संसार
materialist,
की वस्तु के लिए
material
हो
world, or
तो
material
पागल
person,
माना जाएगा,
then it
तब
is
तो
called
बहुत
as
निकृष्टता
madness
मानी जाएगी.
and it is futile.
श्रीमती राधा रानी की स्थिति
Srimati Radharani's stature is
महाभाव
similar
की परम सीमा
to
पर
Mahabhav. She
श्रीमती राधा
is
रानी
at the
खड़ी हैं,
highest pitch of Mahabhav,
और उनके चरणों में जो वो भंवरा आया है,
and
उस भंवरे
this
के साथ वार्तालाप
honeybee,
कर
which
रही
is
है.
at her lotus feet, she is talking
प्रथम
to
श्लोक
him.
हमने कल श्रवण किया.
We heard the
किस प्रकार
first
से
verse
श्रीमती राधा रानी
that
कहती हैं,
how Srimati Radharani
मधुप
says,
कितव बंधो, हे मधुप तू वो
"Oh,
कपटी का मित्र है,
honeybee, you are a friend of a deceitful person, so please don't touch
कितव
my
बंधो,
feet."
तू वो कपटी कृष्ण का मित्र है मधुप, मधुकर भंवरे, मांस स्पृश्य अंघ्री, मेरे चरणों को मत छू, चला जा यहाँ से.
And go away.
तुझे लज्जा भी नहीं आती कि सब पत्नियां
You
मेरे
don't even
सामने
feel ashamed
के शरीर
that
पर ये
you
पहनी हुई
are wearing
खिली हुई
the
माला से
vermilion
केसर कस्तूरी लेकर अपनी मूछ पर लगाकर
on
यहाँ
your
परेशान किया
whiskers
है.
and
ऐसी
you have come
परिस्थिति में
here.
कोई किसी को मनाने जाता है?
In such a situation, does somebody
भवती
goes to convince
मधुमती
other?
स्तन मानिनी नाम प्रसाद, तुम कृष्ण को कहो कि वो मानिनी को मनाए, मथुरा में ही रहे,
You
मथुरा की स्त्रियों को
tell
अपनाए.
Krishna
और याद
that
रखना एक बात,
he
कृष्ण की बड़ी बेइज्जती होगी.
roams with
यदु सदस्य
the
विडंब्य, यदु कुल में
women of
कृष्ण का
Mathura, and
उपहास
one
होगा.
day he will be
बोलने
defamed
का इसमें
and
मेरा
people
क्या
will
दोष?
laugh at him.
बोले तू भी वही
And
है, यस्य दुस्तम इत्री,
if the honeybee
तुझे भी
says,
उसका
"What is my
दुश्मन
fault?" she
दिखाई
says that
देता है.
you are like him, you are his
तेरे में और
messenger,
उसमें कोई
you
अंतर नहीं
also
है.
roam from one flower to another. So there is no
सो
difference
इस
between
प्रकार
you
से
and him.
श्रीमती राधा रानी ने
So in
कहा
this manner, Srimati Radharani
कि
says,
कृष्ण से मथुरा की स्त्री की माला
that Krishna has rubbed the garland of the women of Mathura. So this is the situation you have understood. So if imagine honeybee is speaking and say that I will take a walk, that Krishna has not even in his dream met any women from Mathura, then how this garland could be crushed? So there is no question of that as well. So, oh Radhe, if he has not even in dream attached to any women, then what is Krishna's fault? Then Radharani replies in the next verse.
दाम स्वाम मोहिनीम पाययित्वा सकरीदधर सुदाम स्वाम मोहिनीम पाययित्वा सुमनस इव सद्य त्यजे अस्मान् भवाद्रि परिचरति कथं तत् पादपद्मं तु पद्मा परिचरति कथं तत् पादपद्मं नु पद्मा यपिबत ऋतचेता उत्तम श्लोक जल्पे यपिबत ऋतचेता उत्तम श्लोक जल्पे। अब भंवरे ने तो कसम खा दी। आज के जमाने में लोग कसम झूठ खाते हैं, शपथ गलत लेते हैं।
So in today's world, people take wrong or false vows, but so Radharani says that you are saying that he has not even in dream met any women, then what is his fault? Then Radharani answers amazing. This is a artist. She says that his fault is that that he had given us some nectar of his lips as a honeybee leaves the flower after taking the nectar of a flower. Similarly, he has left us. So isn't it his offense? Immediately, when we were engrossed in his love, and he immediately left us, isn't it his offense? So in this way, Srimati Radharani is saying, the Acharyas have mentioned so many things, but let me just tell you about 2-3. So if the bee says that, you said that in the previous verse that you two are friends and you are similar. You are chip of the old block, of the same block. So I don't understand that what is the similarities between us. You say that me and Krishna are same, then what is the similarity between us? And she adds in this verse, Sumanas eva Bhavadrik. That means that the bees like you go to the lotus flower. They sit there for a while and then they leave. Similarly, Krishna he gave us little lecture of his lips and then he left us immediately. Preeti Sandharb, let me give an introduction from Preeti Sandharb. I don't want to leave in between. So whatever we finish, at least we should complete it. So in Preeti Sandarbh, it is mentioned about this verse. Sripad Rup Goswami, in his interpretation, so Rup Goswami and Jiv Goswami both have written. So this whole Bhramar Geet, or the song of the bee, has 10 types of Chitrajalpa. So Prajalpa was used in the first verse that we discussed yesterday. Here Sripad, Rup Goswami and Jiv Goswami say, in this second verse, the second Chitrajalpa is Parijalpa, which is used. So what is Parijalpa? Preeti Sandarbh mentions,
चप चालाद्युपपादना स्वविचक्षणता व्यक्ति भंगया स्यात् परिजल्पितं भंगया स्यात् परिजल्पितम्। परिजल्प में 4 वस्तु होती है।
In Parijalpa, there are 4 elements. First, Prabho Nirdayata. So the first thing is discussing or telling about the beloved as totally feelingless or tough. And then it tells that he is shut. So we will discuss its definition further. So the first is Nirdayata, then Shatyata, then Chapalta, Chanchalta, or naughtiness. And the last is Vichakshanat, is described that I am very intelligent, clever, and knowledgeable. So all these 4 qualities revealed are mentioned as Parijalpitam. So Srimati Radharani uses this in the second verse of this song of the bee. So when she was speaking, was she thinking that, okay, I should, because the language of love is complete in itself. When someone performs devotional service towards the Lord and love towards the Lord, then their each and every word becomes Ved Vakya or permanent. So we will discuss this further. So first let's try to understand this verse 2. So Sakrit means little, Adhar means lips. And the nectar is Sudham. And he had intoxicated us with that. Why it is called the
उन्होंने
nectar
सकृत अधर सुधा क्यों कहा?
of his lips?
टीका में बहुत सुंदर लिखा गया,
So it is mentioned
अधर
beautifully
सुधा का
in
अर्थ,
interpretation.
कहते
The
हैं
meaning
अधरी
is
कृता सुधा अपि यया, अधरी माने नगण्य,
Athri means
अधरी
negligible.
नगण्य, कृता सुधाम अपि माने स्वर्ग की जो सुधा है, स्वर्ग का जो
So
अमृत है, उस अमृत को
even
भी
the
नगण्य कर
nectar
दे,
of the
जिसके सामने
celestial
स्वर्ग का
upper planets
कुछ
like
नहीं है,
Swarga is
जिसके सामने स्वर्ग का
futile
गटर के
in
पानी जैसा है,
comparison to the
वो है
nectar
अधर
of
सुधा, वो है
lips of the
श्री
Lord,
कृष्ण की अधर सुधा।
that is
तो अधरी
the
कृता
nectar of
सुधा अपि
Krishna's
यया।
lips.
तो सकृत अधर सुधा, श्रीमती राधा रानी कहती है
And
कि
Srimati
बस
Radharani
अधर
says
सुधा का पान करा के,
that he just gave us little
अब वैसे तो
nectar
कहते
of
हैं
his lips.
सकृत, अब राधा रानी तो प्रेम कलह है ना, बाकी कृष्ण ने सकृत अधर सुधा का पान नहीं कराया,
So
कृष्ण ने
although
बहुत
she's
बार
saying
श्रीमती
it
राधा
is
रानी
small, but
गोपियों को अधर
in
सुधा का
fact
पान कराया है।
he had
श्रीमद
multiple
भगवत गीता में
times
ये सकृत
given
अधर सुधा
the
सुंदर
nectar of
बोलते हैं,
his
पढ़े तो
lips
बोले बला,
to them.
कभी कभी हमको अधर सुधा नहीं पीनी होती थी, ये जबरदस्ती पिलाता था।
And even though we didn't want it, then also
अब
he
यहाँ
used
पर
to
अधर सुधा का अर्थ बहुत सारे
give
हैं।
us. So there are
यहाँ
multiple
अधर सुधा
meanings
का एक अर्थ
of
मिलता
this
है
Adhar Sudha or nectar of
वासुदेव बताया,
lips.
जैसे
And
भगवान श्री कृष्ण
today we are
अपने अधर और ओष्ठ
here
से बांसुरी
discussing
बजाते हैं, उसमें
of Krishna's playing of the flute.
और फिर जिन जिन को आवाज जाती है वो भी
So
एक अधर सुधा है।
that listening of
आप
the
कहोगे
flute
भाई ये अर्थ
is
कहाँ से लेकर
also
आए?
similar to
भागवत
the
से
nectar
और
of
कुछ नहीं है,
Krishna's lips,
श्रीमद्
and
भागवत
it
से
is
नहीं,
not
श्रीमद् भागवत के ग्रंथ
anything
में कहा गया,
outside of Shrimad Bhagavatam. In Shrimad Bhagavatam, it is mentioned this verse in front of your screen.
पीडम नटवर वपु कर्णयो कर्णिकारम बिभ्रतवास कनक कपिशम वैजयंतीं च माला रंग्रान वेणो अधर सुधया पूरयन गोप वृंदे वृंदारण्यम स्वपद रमणम प्राविशद गीत कीर्ति। श्रीमद् भागवत 10:21-5।
So this is from 10th canto 21st chapter 5th verse.
रूप का वर्णन किया गया है,
The magnanimous of his
जिसको सुनकर
features are described.
सुखदेव की समाधि टूट गई थी।
This is the same description
एक श्लोक
due to
है
which
जिसे
Shukdev Goswami's meditation or trance
होकर चले गए थे,
was
ब्रह्मानंद का आनंद
broken.
ले रहे थे।
He was
दुनिया
in
में
the
दुखी
stage
लोग
of
कह रहे थे
Brahmanand,
कि भक्ति वही करता है जो दुखी होता है।
and
आप किसी को कहो ना,
that
आप
somebody
प्रेम
who is
करे भागवत का
distressed,
पूजन કર્યું, બરોબર?
then
ત્યાર
only
પછી બધાને આમંત્રણ
they
તો આપ્યું હશે
do
ને કે
pure
ભાઈ
devotional
ભાગવત છે,
service.
તમે લોકો
So
આવજો,
if
એમાં
they've
ભાગવત
organized a
ગીતા
katha and they
સંભળાવો,
might have
તો બધા
invited
કહેશે
the people,
કે અમે પાપ થોડી કર્યા છે,
and
અમે
so
કેમ
many will say
ભાગવત
that
સાંભળીએ, અમે
why
ક્યાં
should
પાપ
we
કર્યા છે?
listen to the katha? We
ભગવત
haven't
ગીતાનો
sinned
બધા
at all.
પાપીઓ છીએ, આ બધા
So
પાપ
we
કરીને
all are
બેઠા છે।
sinners here, gathered
और
here,
कुछ लोग ऐसे भी
listening to
कहते
the
हैं,
Bhagavatam.
અમુક માણસો એવું કહે કે અમે થોડી દુખી છીએ,
And
જે
the
દુખી
others
છે
will
બધું
say that
મંદિરમાં
we are
જાય,
not distressed.
જે
The
દુખી
people
હોય
who
એ
are
કથા
distressed, they
સાંભળે,
go
અમે
to the
દુખી
temple,
છીએ।
they listen to the
तो जिन
Bhagavatam.
लोगों की ऐसी ऐसी भावना है,
And people
वो
who have
दुखी
such
लोग ही
perspective
कथा सुनते
that
हैं, ये
only
दुखी लोग
sad and
ही
distressed
मंदिर
people
जाते हैं।
listen
जो लोग मंदिर
katha
जाते हैं उनका
or
तो
go to
मंदिर ही
temple.
अलग पक्ष है,
Yeah, the distressed
लेकिन ऐसा
go
मत
to the
समझिए
temple and
दुखी लोग
the
ही
distress is
कथा
removed.
या
But
दुखी
that
लोग
doesn't
ही
mean
कथा
that
सुनते हैं।
only the
सुखदेव को
distressed
देखिए,
go to the temple or
सुखदेव
listen
दुखी था,
to Bhagavatam.
सुखदेव
Example is
गोस्वामी
Shukdev
कभी
Goswami. Was
जब
he
तो
distressed?
ब्रह्मानंद का आनंद हम और आप
He
क्या
was
आनंद ले रहे हैं,
at the
हमारा
Brahmanand
आनंद कुछ
stage.
है ही नहीं।
Our
संसार के
pleasure
सारे
is
सुखों से ऊपर ब्रह्मानंद
futile
प्रिय
or
थे,
negligible in
लेकिन
front of
ब्रह्मानंद
his
का आनंद लेने वाले सुखदेव ने जब
pleasure.
ये श्लोक सुना
But
तो
when he
ब्रह्मानंद का
heard
आनंद
this
भी
verse,
तुच्छ लगने लगा और फिर वो
he
भागवत को
thought
पकड़ लिया।
that the pleasure
सबसे
of Brahmanand was negligible. So the happiest of them all, or the distressed of all, listens to Bhagavatam. It is not fixed on any particular situation. A person who is distressed becomes happy, and the other who is happy becomes more happy, and the more happier becomes devotee of the Lord or the lover of the Lord. So let me put these two words in front of you.
स्वाम मोहिनीम पाययित्वा, इस पहली लाइन पर मैं प्रमाण दे रहा हूँ, भागवत से कोट
So
कर रहा हूँ।
I am quoting from Shrimad Bhagavatam that Srimati Radharani says
अधर सुधा पिलाई, लेकिन कितनी
he
सी,
had
थोड़ी सी।
given us
तो
little
मैं राधा रानी को
nectar
मान
of
के
his
रूप में
lips.
कह रहा हूँ, थोड़ी सी
So
कहाँ पिलाई, वो तो बेचारे
if
रात दिन पिला रहे थे।
if I tell in the form of honeybee that he was giving you nectar day and night, what is the proof?
कृष्ण अधर सुधा भरपूर पिला रहे थे, लेकिन राधा
Krishna
रानी
was
को
giving
थोड़ी लग रही
ample,
थी।
but Srimati Radharani was
रानी
feeling
अलग है,
it was
लेकिन हम उसको
insufficient
सुनते हैं,
or less.
बलहा पीडम नटवर वपु
So
कर्णयो
in the
हानिकारम
below verse, you see,
बिभृत वास कनक कपिशम वैजयंतीम चमालम। पहली लाइन को फिर कभी समझेंगे, दूसरी लाइन में आ जाइए। कृष्ण
let's
क्या
move to
करते हैं
the
रस में?
second line of this verse.
रंगरान
What
वेणु।
does Krishna does in Raja?
रंगरान का अर्थ होता है
Rangran
छिद्रों
means
को, वेणु
the
माने
holes
बांसुरी के,
of the flute. Venu is
रंध्र
flute,
माने छिद्र,
Randran is the
वेणु माने
holes,
बांसुरी के। अधर सुधया, बांसुरी के छिद्र में भगवान श्री कृष्ण अधर
so
सुधा, ये ऊपर मूल श्लोक के प्रारंभ में
the
है ना, अधर सुधा।
Lord
अधर सुधा वेणु बांसुरी की छिद्रों में भरते थे।
blows or fills
तो रंगरान
the
वेणु अधर सुधा,
nectar of
कृष्ण
his
अपनी
lips
अधर सुधा
in
बांसुरी
the
में भरते थे।
holes of this
और
flute
पूरयन गोप वृंदे, और
and
बांसुरी में भरकर
Purayan
फिर सारे
Govinde,
गोप गोपियों को पिलाते थे।
and he
ठीक है,
used to
समझ में आ गई? तो ये सिस्टम थी।
give it to all the gopis
तो
and
कभी वेणु
gopas,
की
the
बात
eternal
होती है
associates
हिरण्य माध्यम से,
or residents of
लेकिन
Raja.
श्रीमती राधा रानी कहती है
But
कि
Srimati Radharani
सत्यम
says
अधर सुधाम, उस
it is
कृष्ण ने
less.
हमें थोड़ा सा अमृत का पान कराया, और पान करा के सद्य त्यजते, तुरंत हमें त्याग दिया।
And immediately he bereft us.
हमारे जीवन में भी कभी कभी ऐसी
In
घटना घटती
our
है,
life also,
जैसे
sometimes such
श्रीमती राधा
situation
रानी के
arises
जीवन में घट रही है।
as it is
घटना
happening
क्या
in
हो रहा है
Srimati Radharani's life.
कि कृष्ण हमारे साथ रहे, कृष्ण हमारे साथ मिले, उन्होंने हमें
She
परम धाम
desires
सुख का आनंद दिया,
that
लेकिन
Krishna
हम
should
तुरंत
stay
छोड़
with
कर
us,
चले गए।
and he has given
तो
us the
हमारे जीवन में भी
immense
थोड़ा सा
pleasure,
राधा रानी
but he left us.
को तो हम कंपेयर तो नहीं कर सकते,
We cannot
लेकिन
compare ourselves
अनुसरण
with
तो कर
Srimati
सकते
Radharani,
हैं।
but at
ऐसी
least we
सिचुएशन
cannot imitate, but at
कभी
least we
कभी
can
हमारे
follow.
जीवन में भी होती
And
है।
when we have such situation in our life
कैसे, कब?
sometimes, and
जब हम भक्ति में शुरू शुरू में आते हैं ना, यहाँ पर भी
when
कई लोग शुरू
initially
शुरू में
we
कथा
are
सुनते हैं, शुरू शुरू
in
में भक्ति
new
करते
in
हैं।
pure devotional service towards the
जब हम
Lord
भक्ति में
or
शुरू शुरू
listen
में
to the
आते हैं,
katha,
तो हमें एक चमत्कारिक सुख मिलता है।
then we get
और
a
भगवान भगवान हमें विशेष
powerful pleasure,
दर्शन देते हैं,
magical
विशेष
pleasure,
सुख देते हैं,
and
विशेष आनंद
Lord
देते
gives
हैं।
us
भगवान अपना अमृत पान कराते हैं जब
us
हम भक्ति में प्रवेश करते हैं।
nectar and showers
भक्ति
His
की
mercy
शुरुआत
on
के
us
दिन याद
when
करो
we
आप सब लोग,
enter the
भक्ति में
bhakti
जब हम एंटर
yoga,
हुए,
when we
कितनी
enter the
खुशी,
pure devotional service.
कितना रस, कितना आनंद।
So, how
लेकिन
much
राधा
pleasure
रानी
we
कहती
used to
है
get.
कि
This is
बस
what
जब
Srimati
अमृत
Radharani
शुरू
is
हुआ
feeling.
तब तक तो छोड़कर चले गए।
And by the time we realize
आंखों
this
से
pleasure,
जब देखते
He
हैं,
left
आप
us.
हृदय पर
If
हाथ
we
रख
go
करके हो
back
कि आज
and
हम
judge
भक्ति में जब
ourselves,
देखते हैं, तो भक्ति की शुरुआत में हमको जो सुख, जो आनंद मिल
the
रहा है,
pleasure that we
वो क्या अभी भी मिल
got
रहा है?
in the beginning,
भक्ति
are
में
we
शुरू
getting
में
the
हमको
same
सब शुद्ध
now?
भक्त लगते थे। भक्ति में
Sorry.
शुरू शुरू में हमको सब कृष्ण
Initially,
के पार्षद दिखाई
we
देते थे,
used to
किसी
feel
की
that
निंदा नहीं, किसी की
all
ईर्ष्या
the
नहीं, सबको
devotees
प्रणाम
are
करना,
eternal
झुकना,
associates of the Lord. We used to bow down
नमस्कार
at the lotus
करना।
feet of everyone.
लेकिन आज तो हम सीनियर डिवोटी हो गए,
But now we are
इसमें
senior
ये गलती,
devotees.
इसमें ये गलती, इसमें
So
ये
we
है, ये
just
है।
find faults in others.
भक्ति तो कर रहे हैं,
We
लेकिन
are
जो सुख है, जो
performing the pure devotional service, but
यह
the pleasure
सिद्धांत,
is
ये तत्व
gone.
नारद मुनि ने
This principle
अपने शिष्य व्यासदेव को
is
बताया।
told to Srila Vyasadeva
कि
by
किस प्रकार
his
से
spiritual master
भक्ति की
Srila
वृद्धि होती है। सुनिए,
Narad Muni.
बोले मेरा पहला जन्म ब्रह्मा के गोद से
She
हुआ
says that I was first
और
born
ब्रह्मा
from
जी
the
ने
lap of
कहा
Brahmaji,
विवाह करो, तो मैंने विवाह
and
नहीं
he
किया।
told me to marry and
मुझे
I
श्राप दिया
refused.
तो दूसरा
He
जन्म
cursed me, and
उपब्राह्मण
in the
बन करके
second
देवता बन गया।
birth I became a
उस
demigod,
जन्म में भी मैंने थोड़ा सा अपराध किया
and then I
पुष्कर
offended
क्षेत्र में जाकर,
in
तो फिर से
Pushkar,
मुझे श्राप मिला
the pious
और मेरा
place, and
दूसरा
again I
जन्म
was cursed.
दासी के पुत्र के रूप में हुआ।
And
पिता का
thirdly,
नाम
I
कोमिल गोप, माता का नाम
came
कमला।
as a son of a
जब ऐसे
servant.
ही पिता की मृत्यु हो गई और मेरी
My
माँ दूसरों के घर पे
father
काम
was no
करने
more in
लगी,
the world,
काम
and my
करने
mother
लगी, स्कूल
used to
चली गई।
work hard in other
तब तक
person's
उपवास
home
का समय था
to earn
और
a
मेरी माता को साधु
livelihood,
संतों की सेवा करने का अवसर मिला।
and she
माता
got
जी
a
से बोला
chance to
कि
serve
अपने साधु संतों के
the
साथ बैठिए,
devotees or
साधु संतों का
sages.
तो एक ही काम है
And
कथा और कीर्तन। तो मैं भी
what do
साधु
the
बन गया
sages
और
do?
मैं भी कथा कीर्तन
They
सुनने
do
लगा।
katha and kirtan,
25
and I
महीना
used to
हम
go
लोगों
there
को द्विजय साधु
and
संतों का संग,
follow
उनकी
them,
सेवा, उनकी
and
कथा सुनी।
by just
मेरे
serving them
हृदय
and
में
eating the
भक्ति का बीज
remnants
प्रवेश कर गया।
of their food,
साधु चले गए अपने घर और कुछ
uh,
दिन के बाद मेरी
the
माता को सर्प
my
काट
seed
लिया,
of
मृत्यु हो गई
bhakti
और मैं बहुत दुखी हुआ।
manifested. And when my mother
और
died, I
वही
was
अवस्था
extremely
में मैं
distressed.
बहुत रोया
And
क्योंकि
at
मेरा कोई
that
किसी से प्रेम नहीं
situation,
था।
because I was now
मैं रोया, मैं
all
रोया
alone,
और उस समय भक्ति का
I
बीज
had
मेरे
no
हृदय
one.
में आ चुका था, इसलिए रोते समय मैंने प्रभु का नाम लिया तो मेरे
And
सामने प्रभु प्रकट हो गए।
as I
भगवान
was
का
crying,
अद्भुत,
I
भगवान का अद्भुत
was
दृश्य मैं
calling
दर्शन
the
करने
Lord,
लगा
and He
जी।
manifested, and I could
और
see
जब
Him.
मैंने भगवान को देखा तो दिल
And when I
परवश
saw
हो
Him,
गया,
my
चमत्कार
heart
दर्शन,
was
आनंद आनंद हो
filled,
गया।
overwhelmed with emotions
लेकिन
and
थोड़ी
pleasure.
ही देर के बाद वो
But
भगवान
after a
वहीं
while,
अदृश्य हो गया।
the Lord
अब माता का दुख तो मुझे भूल ही गया,
went
माँ
away.
रोना
I
भूल
couldn't
गया।
see Him anymore.
अब मैं
So
भगवान
the
को खोजने लगा।
distress of my
वो जो
loss of my
सुंदर
mother
स्वरूप था, वो
is
चमत्कारिक सुख था, वो कहाँ है? यहाँ
was
वहाँ
gone,
कहाँ
but
है, कहाँ
I
है,
was
कहाँ है?
trying to find
परेशान।
the Lord. I was distressed because of
वो
His
यही
absence
सिचुएशन
now.
है।
So
सक्रिय
this is the
साधना सीखा,
situation of
कृष्ण ने
Srimati
नारद को
Radharani
थोड़ी सी
here.
पिलाई, चले गए।
Krishna
कृष्ण का
gave them
स्वभाव है,
little nectar and He
थोड़ा थोड़ा
leaves.
पिला
This
देते
is
हैं,
the nature
बीच
of
में सो
Lord.
जाते हैं और वो चले जाते हैं।
Once we are a little
याद है ना,
intoxicated, He
कहते हैं ये
leaves.
जो नारद जी को हुआ, तो नारद का एक प्रैक्टिकल जो हमारे लिए है, नारद जी
So the
को
practical
रस तो मिला
that
था,
we
वो
have
रस
for
की खोज में।
us, that He is in
नारद जी
search of
थक
this
गए, क्या
nectar.
करूं क्या करूं।
He's
तब
distressed.
इसी
What
समय
should I do?
आकाशवाणी हुई।
And then
श्रीमद् भागवत के प्रथम स्कंद में
there
लिखा
was
है,
a vibration from the sky,
स्वयं भगवान नारद मुनि से कह रहे
and
हैं,
this Lord Himself
भक्त
tells Narad
बिन
Muni
जन्म भी।
in Bhagvatam,
बड़े दुख की बात है हे नारद,
it
खेद
is
है
so sad
कि इस जन्म में तो आपको
that
मेरा
in
दर्शन
this
नहीं होगा।
birth you won't be able to
अर्जुन ने
see
कहा क्यों
me.
नहीं होगा, मुझे तो अभी अभी
And
आपका
Narad
दर्शन
Muni
हुआ,
said that why?
कुछ समय पहले
Just now I
बड़ा
saw
आनंद आ
you
गया, बस अब तो मैं और
manifest
कुछ नहीं
and
चाहता, बस
I
वही
got the
चाहता हूँ।
pleasure and I don't want anything else
नारद ने
now.
कहा कि मेरे दर्शन के लिए समस्त वासनाओं से मुक्त होना पड़ेगा,
He's- The
समस्त
Narayan
इच्छाओं
says
से,
that
कामनाओं
you
से
will
मुक्त होना
have
पड़ेगा।
to
नारद जी ने
get
कहा
rid of all the
समस्त भौतिक
desires
कामनाओं से मुक्त होना पड़ेगा, तो
and
बिना वासना
carnal
कामना से मुक्त
desires
हुए आपका
or
दर्शन होगा,
sense
वो क्या था?
gratification,
बोले वो मेरी
then
कृपा
only
थी,
you will have
वो मेरी अकारण करुणा थी,
manifest.
टेस्ट देने के लिए। और तुम्हें जब टेस्ट
I
चाहिए
will
ना,
manifest in your
तो
heart. But
भजन करो, साधना करो, भक्ति करो, मेहनत करो,
the
तब तुम
one
उस टेस्ट को प्राप्त करोगे।
manifested form that you
तब
saw
नारद जी ने
was due
पूछा
to my mercy
तो फिर वो
to
टेस्ट हम कैसे प्राप्त कर सकते
give
हैं?
you a taste, and now you go and perform pure devotional
सत्य
service.
सत्य
Narad
दर्शन
Muni asked
रूपम
how I'm going to do that,
एतत् कामायते
and
नरः।
Lord replies,
मैंने तुम्हें एक बार मेरे रूप का दर्शन कराया
I have
ताकि तुम उस टेस्ट को, उस रस को
given
समझ सको,
once the
लेकिन
darshan
अब तुम्हें अपने
so
से
that you
मेहनत
can
करके
understand or relish the taste. And now it is your responsibility, your task to achieve that stage. And Narad Muni asked that, how I will get that stage? So the Lord answers, he says, is can be achieved by just serving the saints or devotees, by listening the Harikatha from saints. Then whatever the glimpse you got, it will become eternal and it will manifest in your heart permanently if you associate with devotees. So Srimati Radharani says that just giving little nectar he left. So this is what happens in our life as well. Initially the Lord gives us the taste.
इनमें से कुछ लोग शुरुआत में हैं, बड़ा टेस्ट ले रहे हैं, और कुछ लोग मजेदार में है जो
some are in middle and they have already taken the taste.
भक्ति की शुरुआत में है, वो टेस्ट भगवान कृपा करके देते हैं, वो अपने
And that is by the mercy of the Lord. It is not because of our qualification, but by the mercy. And then this taste is no more. Then we should work hard and achieve that stage. So let's come back to Srimati Radharani. So the honeybee says that he left for Mathura. So he says that why did you allow him to go? So Srimati Radharani replies,
राधा रानी कहती हैं कि उसने जो हमको पिलाई ना,
Radha Rani says that the nectar that he gave us, Mohini, it intoxicated us. We were intoxicated and he left. How beautifully expressed. So the honeybee says that, why did you allow him to go? He said that his nectar was intoxicating. Mohini means intoxicated. It was so much intoxic that we were so much intoxicated. We were not in our senses and he left for Mathura. Oh, honeybee, our mind was not working, nor our intelligence or heart. And now that we are conscious, we realize that he has left us. So again, the honeybee says that what is my fault then? Krishna left you, not you. She says that you are equally responsible, Bhavadrik. Suman means flower. Bhavadrik, the last word in the second line, like you. As you sit on the flower and then you take the nectar of that flower. The flower also enjoys that. And he also leaves like you. So the Bhavra is debating. And he is proceeding further. He says, you say that Krishna has cheated you. Please let me know. What do you think about Lakshmi ji? Isn't Lakshmi ji intelligent? So he quotes the verse. He says, she is chanchal. This naughty and clever at the same time.
बोले अगर कृष्ण ठग है, भंवरा बोल रहा है,
So the bee
अगर
is
कृष्ण
saying,
कपटी
if
होते, अगर
Krishna is
कृष्ण ठग होते,
deceitful,
तो
then
लक्ष्मी की नजर से तो नहीं बच पाते।
Lakshmi ji, he
अगर
wouldn't
ठग
have
होते तो लक्ष्मी की नजर से तो, क्योंकि वो तो चतुर है,
escaped the clever
चलाक है,
eye of
तो
Lakshmi
लक्ष्मी की
ji, the
नजर से
goddess
तो
of
बच ही नहीं
fortune.
पाते। लेकिन देखा गया है
But
कि
we have
लक्ष्मी जी
seen
ने बड़े बड़े लोगों को छोड़ दिया
Lakshmi ji left
और
so
कृष्ण
many
का
huge
वर्ण किया।
personalities and married
कृष्ण में
him
दोष नहीं होगा इसीलिए तो वर्ण किया
because
उन्होंने।
he doesn't have a
जब
fault. That is
लक्ष्मी
why
लक्ष्मी को कृष्ण
she
में दोष
married
नहीं
him.
दिखाई दिया, तो तुम गांव में रहने वाली कैसे क्लेम कर सकती हो कि कृष्ण में दोष है? क्या तुम में ज्यादा बुद्धि है?
So how can you
कंफर्म कर
claim
दिया तुम्हारे अंदर ज्यादा बुद्धि है कि लक्ष्मी के अंदर ज्यादा बुद्धि। राधा रानी
that
तो कहते लक्ष्मी के अंदर ज्यादा
is
बुद्धि, वो तो बिल्कुल
he
चतुर
is
आदमी है।
deceitful?
तो जब लक्ष्मी ने कृष्ण का वर्ण किया
So
तो
when
लक्ष्मी की नजर
Lakshmi
में तो ये
ji
सब
has
कपटी और ये जो तुमको
married
भड़कवाना चाहिए, तो लक्ष्मी की नजर लक्ष्मी
the
पे चला
Lord
गया।
herself,
भक्तों श्रीमद् भागवत जी में बहुत सुंदर प्रसंग
Shrimad
है।
Bhagavatam has a beautiful pastime
जब समुद्र मंथन
when
हुआ
at the time
तो
of
एक
the
तरफ
churning
देवता
of
लगे
the
थे और
ocean,
दानव लगे थे,
so
और
both the
मंदाकिनी जी
parties,
ने
demons and
भगवान
demigods,
का
were standing
वासुदेव
in
नाग को लगा करके
opposite of each other.
सबसे पहले विष निकला, कामधेनु
So
गाय निकली,
initially,
उच्चैश्रवा घोड़ा निकला, ऐरावत
the
हाथी निकला, पारिजात वृक्ष
poison
निकला,
and many other
गाय
things
निकली,
came out.
अग्नि मदिरा निकली, ये सब निकला। और जब फिर तो लक्ष्मी जी प्रकट हुई,
And finally,
सुखदेव
Lakshmi ji
गोस्वामी
manifested.
कहते हैं
Shukdev Goswami
जब
mentions
समुद्र में से लक्ष्मी जी प्रकट हुई,
that when she manifested,
तस्याम चक्रु स्पृहा सर्वे, देव दानव सबके मन में हो गया
then
कि भाई बाकी
all
सब हमको नहीं मिला,
demigods and demons
ये
were
हमको
thinking
मिलना
that
चाहिए।
even if we don't get anything else, but at least we
और ये
should
बात
get
सच
her.
है, इस दुनिया में ऐसा कौन है
And
जो लक्ष्मी नहीं
it is
चाहता?
true
मुझे एक
because there
एक
is
पर्सन
no
बताओ।
one in this world who doesn't
लक्ष्मी सब
wants
लोग चाहते हैं, साधु संत भी भले अपने लिए
fortune,
नहीं,
goddess of
मठ
fortune.
मंदिर
Even
बनाने
the
के लिए, सेवा आदि करने के
sages,
लिए,
if not for their
लक्ष्मी की
personal use,
आवश्यकता तो
but to
सबको है।
make
तो भागवत में
the
सीधा सीधा
temple,
क्यों नहीं?
mutt,
तस्याम
or
चक्रु स्पृहा
hermitage,
सर्वे,
etc.
सब लोग लक्ष्मी की कामना करते हैं।
So
तो
everybody
सब
desires
बोलने का
wealth or material
लक्ष्मी हम
opulence.
रखेंगे।
So
तो लक्ष्मी
everybody
जी कंफ्यूज हो गए,
said that
लक्ष्मी के
we
पिता
want to
बोले
keep her,
मेरी
and
बेटी सबके साथ रहती है,
Lakshmi ji got confused and C is
तो
his father.
सब लक्ष्मी
So
को
she
बोला
said
तुम एक
that
काम करो,
you all desire
अगर वैसे
her,
भी तुम समुद्र मंथन करते हुए थक गए हो
or you all
तो
might
थोड़ी
be
देर रेस्ट
tired
कर लो,
by
समुद्र
churning the
मंथन
ocean,
छोड़ो,
just take little
हम
rest
कमरे में जाकर बैठते हैं,
and
वन
sit.
में बैठकर
Let's sit in
लक्ष्मी
a
जी हाथ में
room,
वरमाला लेकर
and
चलेंगी,
Lakshmi ji will
और
bring
जो
the
जो अच्छा
garland,
लगेगा उनको
and
माला पहना के
whoever she
लक्ष्मी जी के
finds
ऊपर छोड़ना है, वो
suitable,
उसका वरण करे।
she will
ये
marry.
तो लक्ष्मी तो चाहती, लेकिन लक्ष्मी किसको
Let
चाहती
her
है
choose
वो सब
what
लक्ष्मी के ऊपर छोड़ते
she
हैं।
desires. So let's leave
ये
it on
भंवरा
her.
जो है राधा रानी को याद करा रहा है।
This is what the bee is
तो लक्ष्मी किसको
reminding
चाहती?
Srimati Radharani,
सारा देव समाज,
that
दानव समाज,
the
देव दानव ये
goddess of
सारे
fortune
ऋषि
desires
मुनि गंधर्व
Lord.
किन्नर चारण
So
विद्या
there were
जब
so many types of
लक्ष्मी की बात आ
demigods,
जाता हम लोग भी तो,
demons,
हम भी बैठ जाते
sages,
हैं। तो आपने त्यारे
and
नोता
everywhere.
बाकी आपने तो
We were
आपने
not there.
બેસી ગયા હોત કે હા
Otherwise, we
બેસી
would
ગયા હોત
also
થોડી
have
सी,
sat there.
तो सब लोग बैठ गए
So everybody
और
is
यहाँ
sad.
लक्ष्मी जी अपने हाथों में वरमाला
And
लेकर के
Lakshmi ji comes with a
सब लोग
garland in her
वरमाला
hands.
ढूंढ रहे, मेरे गले में आए, मेरे गले में आए।
And everybody is
अब
thinking that
हाथ में
we
वरमाला
will
लेकर
be
लक्ष्मी जी चली है, और लक्ष्मी जी को,
chosen by her.
लक्ष्मी जी को मन ही मन में सोचना है ना
So
कि
Lakshmi ji is
किसको
thinking in her
सिलेक्ट
mind,
करना, किसको
whom
रिजेक्ट
should
करना।
I select and whom should
और
I reject?
सिलेक्शन और रिजेक्शन किसी के गुण और दोष पर निर्भर
And
करता है।
depend and
तो
it is
उसने
based
भी
on the
प्रभु को
qualities
देखते
or
हुए
nature of
लक्ष्मी
the
जी ने
person.
जो अपने मन में सोचा,
So what
सुखदेव
Lakshmi ji was
गोस्वामी ने
thinking,
भागवत
Shukdev
ग्रंथ दे
Goswami
दिया। सुनिए
has
सुखदेव जी का।
mentioned in
मुझे
Bhagavatam.
नहीं लगता है कि उस समय देव दानवों को पता होगा कि लक्ष्मी क्या सोच रही है,
Nobody could
लेकिन
have
सुखदेव
thought,
की कृपा से
even
आगे
not even
बढ़े
the demigods, that what Lakshmi ji
उस
is
समय
thinking.
लक्ष्मी जी ने अपने
But
मन में क्या
Shukdev
सोचा सुनिए,
Goswami
मैं आपको
mentions
बताऊं।
what she was thinking.
लक्ष्मी
Let
जी
me show
अपने
you
मन में
that
क्या
verse.
सोचती है।
She is thinking this.
नूनं तपोयस्य न मन्युनिर्जयो ज्ञानं क्वचित् चन संगवर्जितम् कश्चिन्महान्तस्य न कामनिर्जय स ईश्वरः किं परतो व्यपाश्रयः। लक्ष्मी जी हाथ में वरमाला लेकर चल रही हैं।
Lakshmi ji is walking with garland in her hands, and she saw
नूनम तपो यस्य 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 तपो तपो अस्ति, मतलब कुछ लोग एक लाइन में लक्ष्मी जी ने देखा कि ये पूरी लाइन में
she
तपस्या
saw that all the people here in this line are austere,
यस्य तपस्या अस्ति परंतु न मन्यु निर्जयो।
but
इस लाइन में जो बैठे हुए हैं इन लोगों में
so
तपस्या
these
तो भरपूर है,
people are filled with
लेकिन अपने
austerity,
क्रोध को वश में नहीं किया
but
है।
they are unable to control their
उनका
anger.
क्रोध अपने कंट्रोल में नहीं है। तो कौन लड़की क्रोधी आदमी
And
से
then
शादी करना चाहेगी?
who will like to marry a person who gets angry easily?
अब तो
So
आपने
Lakshmi ji thought,
कौन सी लाइन बैठी थी वहां पर? बोले उस लाइन में सबसे पहले दुर्वासा ऋषि बैठे थे।
so it is mentioned that Durvasa Rishi was present in the first line.
जितने भी हैं तपस्या तो बहुत बड़ी दुर्वासा की,
So
उनका
they
नाम ही है
do
दुर्वासा,
so much austerity.
जो घास के ऊपर निर्भर रहते
His
हैं।
name is Durvasa, who is dependent on the grass.
दुर्वासा जैसे ऋषि मुनि तपस्या तो भरपूर है लेकिन क्रोध कंट्रोल नहीं है। फिर लक्ष्मी जी आगे बढ़ी हाथ में माला ले,
Lakshmi ji moves forward.
ज्ञानम क्वचित तच्च न
Then she
संगवर्जितम।
sees
फिर दूसरी पूरी लाइन में
in
लक्ष्मी
the
जी ने अपनी
second
तरफ से
line,
देखा,
she
क्या
sees
ज्ञान है, भरपूर ज्ञान
here
है,
the people are filled with knowledge,
आसक्ति अटैचमेंट
but
से
still
मुक्ति नहीं है।
they are attached.
अब
They are
जहां
not yet
भरपूर
liberated from the
आसक्ति हो,
attachment. When there is so
तो
much
ज्ञान का
attachment,
क्या मतलब?
then what is the use of this
तो मान
knowledge?
लो पूछा जाए भाई उस लाइन
So
में
if
आपको कौन दिखाई
yes,
दे रहा है जहां
who
ज्ञान
was
है
sitting
लेकिन
in that line?
आसक्ति से मुक्त नहीं है?
That they have
बोले
knowledge,
सभी
but they were
दिखाई दे रहे,
attached.
दो तीन दिखाई दे रहे हैं आपको, बताऊं? बोले बताओ। बोले सबसे पहले तो
The
शुक्राचार्य,
first is Shukracharya.
कवि नाम उष्णाम कवि।
He
शुक्राचार्य
had so
कौन सी
much
ज्ञानी थे?
knowledge.
मरे हुए आदमी को जिंदा कर देते,
He could even make a dead person alive.
मरे हुए को
Mrit
जिंदा
Sanjeevani
दिखाकर
Vidya,
शुक्राचार्य।
he had
ज्ञान
that
है,
power.
ज्ञानम
He had
क्वचित,
knowledge,
लेकिन न संग वर्जित,
but
लेकिन
no
अटैचमेंट आसक्ति से
detachment.
मुक्त नहीं है।
He was filled
तो फिर
with
ऐसे आदमी को
attached.
क्या किया जाए? शुक्राचार्य की आसक्ति
So
आपने
what
बचपन
is
से
the
सुना ही
use of
है।
such knowledge?
अपने बेटी के
As you've heard a few days
प्रॉब्लम
back,
के कारण
just because of
बाप का
little
बूढ़ा होने का शाप
problem
दिया, ये याद
with
रखना।
Sahib, he cursed Yayati
शुक्राचार्य
Maharaj, his
थोड़े से
son-in-law.
धन के लोभ में असुरों का असुरों के
And
गुरु
for
बन गए।
little
साक्षात भगवान
money,
महाराज
he
के मुकाम पर
became
आए तो
the
शुक्राचार्य
spiritual
ने
master of the
देने के
demons.
लिए मना कर दिया। ये सब आसक्ति है।
He refused
ज्ञान
Bali
है
Maharaj
लेकिन
to
आसक्ति
do
है।
charity. So this
और
is
फिर दूसरा
all
कवि दिखाई देता है
signs of
बृहस्पति।
attachment.
देवताओं के गुरु
Then
बृहस्पति,
I see Brahaspati.
उन्होंने ज्ञान तो बहुत कुछ है लेकिन
He
इतनी
has so much
आसक्ति
knowledge. He is the
कि
guru
इंद्र खड़ा
of
नहीं हुआ
the
तो उन्होंने गुरु पद ही छोड़ दिया।
demigods. And because
याद
just
रखना।
Indra didn't
फिर लक्ष्मी जी हाथ में वरमाला लेकर आगे बढ़ी,
arose,
कहते हैं
he
क्वचित
left the
महांतस्य
position
न काम
of
निर्जय।
being his
बोले इस सभा में
master.
महान लोग तो बहुत है।
Then in the third row, she says that
इस सभा में
all
बहुत
people
महान महान
here
लोग
are
बैठे हैं,
very great people who
महान
are
तो
sitting
है,
here,
परंतु उन्होंने अपनी कामना पर वासना पर विजय
but
नहीं किया।
still they are
इस
engrossed
समाज
in
में आपको
sense
कौन दिखाई दे रहा है
gratification.
महान है लेकिन कामना पर विजय
And
नहीं? बोले ब्रह्मा।
the
ब्रह्मा
example
महान
is
सृष्टि
Brahma.
के प्रथम जीव,
Brahma is
ब्रह्मा क्यों नहीं मान
greatest
रहा है?
because he's the first living
क्यों
entity
अपना
of the universe,
सरस्वती के
but
पीछे
yet
दौड़े, घटना
he
बोले
ran
किसी ने किया।
behind
फिर
Saraswati.
सोम, सारी जड़ी बूटियों का
Then
राजा सोम,
Som
गुरु
or moon,
पत्नी गामी,
that is
गुरु पत्नी को गुरु माता का अपहरण कर
a
लिया, किडनैप कर
person
लिया।
who provides the
ये
medicinal
लोग महान
potency
है लेकिन कामना
to
से मुक्त है।
grains, but yet
लक्ष्मी
he
जी अभी भी हाथ में
went
वरमाला
behind
लेकर चल
his
रही हैं।
spiritual
फिर आगे
master's
बढ़ते हैं,
wife.
स ईश्वर किम परतो
Then
व्यपाश्रय।
she moves
सभी
further.
बड़े बड़े ईश्वर कंट्रोलर बैठे हैं,
She
मुझे अच्छे
sees
लगते हैं।
Many Ishwars are controllers.
लेकिन उस कंट्रोलर का क्या लाभ जिसको दूसरों का आश्रय लेना पड़ता है?
But what is the use of being a controller when they have to take shelter of others? So, when somebody has to take the shelter of someone else, what is the use of such a controller? Then, who is the example? This is Devraj Indra. He is the controller, yet he has to take shelter of Shiva and Vishnu, Ram and Krishna, etc. So further, Lakshmi ji moves and she thinks there is a whole row of people who are self-righteous. They are firm on their responsibility, but they have no mercy towards the living entities. So what is the example? Is Parshuram. He followed the righteousness, he followed the principle. When his father told him that you should kill your mother and brother, he did the same. He followed his responsibility, but with so much cruelty that he killed his own family, mother and brothers. So this reveals how much clever Srimati Lakshmi ji is. She is intelligent, that is why she is able to choose. And you are saying that Krishna is deceitful. So because in the verse Lakshmi ji is mentioned, that is why I am discussing this here. So she says that I see many people who are detached or charitable, but it doesn't give liberation. Example is Maharaj Nrig Shivi. And then there are quite a few brave hearts in the row who are powerful, yet nobody knows when they will die. The example is Arjun, Sahasrabahu. So all these courageous brave hearts are sitting. They will die any day, and I will become a widow. So I don't want to marry such a person. Further he adds, some people are above the three modes of material nature, but I don't like them. Example Sankadik, the Kumaras. They are kids. They are above the three modes of nature, but I don't like them. Finally, she says, in this assembly, I see people who have long life. Such person is good, but he doesn't has good nature. What is the use? If his nature is not good, then it is of no use or futile. Example, Markandeya Rishi, Lomas Rishi. They have long lives, but their nature is
अगर
not good.
शादी करेंगे तो कम से कम दिन में 5-10 बार तो आई लव यू तो सुनना पड़ेगा, ये लोग तो जानते नहीं ये सब बोलना।
They don't know how to express their
तो इस
love.
प्रकार से आगे कहते हैं क्वचित तदपि
Further,
वेद्यमायुष,
Shukdev Goswami adds,
किसी में शील है, शील माने अपनी
some
पत्नी
have
को मनाना,
nature
पत्नी को रिझाना,
to
समय समय
attract
वो क्या
and
कहते हैं,
pacify the wife.
सरप्राइज गिफ्ट ला कर देना। मैं तो आज तक नहीं
Surprise
समझा
them.
सरप्राइज गिफ्ट में ऐसा तो क्या होता है।
I couldn't understand till today.
સરપ્રાઈઝ ગિફ્ટ
What is
લાવી
there in
દેના,
the surprise gift?
देखो मैं तेरे लिए क्या, આવું બધું ઘણા લોકોને આવું આવડે છે, લક્ષ્મીજીને દેખાય
But
यहाँ बैठे
quite
हैं
a few
लक्ष्मी,
people know how
क्वचित
to do
तदपि
that.
अस्ति, लेकिन उसकी उम्र का कोई ठिकाना नहीं। बोले
But
कौन, बोले हिरण्यकशिपु,
we don't know how long he's going to live.
हिरण्यकशिपु आदि बैठे हैं,
Example is
कैसे कैसे करते हैं,
Hiranyakashipu.
कैसे मनाना रिझाना। यत्रो भयम कुत्र न सोप्य मंगल, इस सभा में
And in this
कुछ
assembly,
लोग हैं
there are
जिसका
few
स्वभाव
people
भी अच्छा है और शील
whose
भी
nature
अच्छा
is
है,
good and their
मतलब
nature
दोनों
is
गुण
also
है
good.
उनका, दोनों चीज है,
So
शील
that
भी
means
है,
that they have
स्वभाव
both the
भी है,
things
और उम्र भी बहुत लंबी है।
and they have long
तब जब
life.
काम हो गया
Then
तो कहती है लेकिन उसका
she
वेश
says,
अच्छा नहीं है,
but they have
स्वभाव
no
अच्छा,
dressing
शील
sense.
अच्छा, लेकिन हुलिया तो ठीक होना चाहिए, नहीं वेश मंगलम। बोले तो वो कौन, बोले शिव जी, शिव जी और उनके जितने भी हैं,
Shivji
शील
and
है, स्वभाव
his
है, उम्र
followers.
भी बहुत लंबी है, लेकिन वेश
He
नहीं
has
है।
everything, but he's not dressed properly.
तो बोले कोई, बोले एक 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 आदमी है, एक आदमी है,
Then
उनको
she says that only
एक
one
आदमी
person
है,
is there,
सुमंगलम, जिसमें सारे
Sumangalam,
गुण
that
हैं,
is,
सर्व
who's
गुण
filled with
संपन्न
all
है,
the qualities,
लेकिन उसमें भी एक दोष है, लक्ष्मी
but
लक्ष्मी है। बोले
he
उसमें क्या दोष है,
also has
बोले
one
वो
problem. What
मुझको
is that?
नहीं चाहता है, वो मुझे देख नहीं रहा है,
He is
बाकी
not
सब
looking
मुझे
at me, he
देख रहे
doesn't
हैं,
desire me.
लेकिन वो
They
बोले
all
वो
are
कौन है,
desiring
वो
me, but he
भगवान
doesn't desire
विष्णु,
me. And who is he? He is
तो शादी
Bhagwan
करेंगे तुझे
Vishnu.
देखेगा, कोई बात नहीं। तो फिर वो हार लिया लक्ष्मी जी ने,
Marry
और
and then he
भगवान
will
विष्णु
see.
के गले में डाल दिया।
And
श्री
she
लक्ष्मी
chooses
नारायण
him.
देव की, श्री लक्ष्मी नारायण भगवान की। सो इस प्रकार से
So, in this manner,
श्री लक्ष्मी जी ने भगवान विष्णु को
Lakshmi
चुना,
ji chose
जिनके
Sri
अंदर
Vishnu
समस्त गुण
Narayana
निहित थे। तो भौरा
because he had all these qualities.
कि
So the bee
अगर
is
ये
saying,
प्रिया जो आप ऐसा कहती हो कि
you're
हमसे
saying that
ठगी गई,
we
कृष्ण
were
ने हमको
cheated.
ठग लिया, हम लोग बहुत
Krishna
मूर्ख
has
है,
cheated us. We
हमको
were
ठग लिया।
simpleton and he
बोले
cheated.
लक्ष्मी जी तो बहुत बुद्धिमान है,
So Lakshmi ji is
बहुत
very
चतुर
clever
है, उसके सामने तो हजारों
and
लाखों लोग
wise,
बैठे थे,
and
उन्होंने तो
she had
सब
so
ठग
many
दिया,
choices,
लेकिन कृष्ण
but
का ही
yet she
ग्रहण
chose
किया। तो
Krishna.
इस बात को तो आप मानती हो ना,
So
यदि
you
कृष्ण
agree
गलत
that
होते तो लक्ष्मी
if
जी
he is
कृष्ण को ग्रहण
not
क्यों
right,
करती।
then why will Lakshmi ji choose him?
राधा रानी कहती है,
Radharani says,
बवरे मैं आज तक
oh
यही
bee,
सोचती हूँ
I
कि
even
जैसे हम
I'm
लोग कृष्ण की
contemplating
बातों में फंस गई ना,
that as
वैसे
we
लक्ष्मी
got
जी उनकी
entangled
बातों
in
में
his
फंस गई।
sweet voice, similarly he
परिचरति कथम तत्
entangled Lakshmi
पादयुगम
ji as well.
प्रियतमा। ये जो लक्ष्मी है वो भी
So this
कृष्ण के
goddess of
पाद में फंस
fortune
गई।
even
इसका
got
कारण,
entangled in
बोले
the
इसका कारण मैं
sweet
जानती हूँ।
speech of Lord
लक्ष्मी
Shri
कैसी
Krishna,
लक्ष्मी
and
कृष्ण के
I know
पाद
the
में फंस
reason
गई,
why.
इसका कारण मैं जानती हूँ, वो कारण इस श्लोक में ही है,
It
लेकिन
is
वो
in this
कारण मैं
verse,
बताऊंगी, मतलब
but
बताऊंगा कल
that
शाम
I
को
will
8 बजे।
reveal tomorrow at 8 o'clock. Hare Krishna.
सो बहुत सुंदर प्रसंग है
It's
जिसको
a
आज हम
beautiful
बहुत
pastime which we are
भाव
listening
से कर रहे हैं, और
with so much
सभी
mellow.
भक्त यह दिव्य प्रसंग को
You all
बड़ी धीरता
are
से
listening to
सुन
this
रहे हैं,
divine
सभी भक्तों को
pastime or
धन्यवाद।
proclivity with
और विशेष
patience.
धन्यवाद इस
So I thank you all,
हमारे चतुर्वेदी
especially the host
और
family,
इनके पूरे
the
इस पटेल परिवार को,
Patel family,
जिसमें प्रमुख राधा श्याम सुंदर प्रभु, सविता माता, भूमिका
Radha Shyam Sundar Prabhu, Savita Mata,
सुनील प्रभु, पारुल माता,
Bhumika Ben, Amit Kumar, Sunil
और
Prabhu
मनीषा
Parul
बहन,
Mata,
संजय कुमार, आप सभी भक्तों को धन्यवाद।
Manisha Ben, Sanjay
आप
Kumar.
सबने मिलकर
I
बहुत
thank you
सुंदर
all.
कथा का आयोजन किया, जिससे
you have organized this beautiful katha, and we are able to listen to this divine transcendental proclivity. And I thank all the listeners as I see you on the screen. So similarly, I have four more screens, and I can see each one of you. So in physical katha, you don't get the names. Here I even get the names of everyone. And I can see that everybody is listening with so much focus and concentration, forgetting everything around. And that is the reason that I'm getting capable to speak so much. So by your blessing and association, we are able to do that. Thank you so much. So let's conclude the session of the 6th day of the Katha with Jai Jaikar.
श्रीमद् भागवतम महापुराण के श्री कृष्ण